ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो उज्जायाणं नमो लोये सौवसाहुनं मङ्गलं भगवान् वीरो मङ्गलं गौतमो गणी मङ्गलं कुन्दकुन्दाद्यो जैनधर्मोऽस्तु मङ्गलम् सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वकल्याणकारकं प्रदानं सर्वधर्माणां जैनं जयतु शासनम् जैनं जयतु शासनम् जैनं जयतु शासनम्. Today we are going to study chapter number 3, Vitrag Vigyan part 2. The name of the chapter is Errors in Understanding the Seven Fundamentals. Now we already studied in Vitrag Vigyan 1 about the seven fundamentals or the seven elements. Now there is always some errors remaining in the understanding of the seven fundamentals, and because of those errors the true nature of each elements is not understood. And since that true nature of each elements is not understood, right belief cannot be achieved. So this chapter is taken from Chaidala Granth, written by Pandit Daulat Ramji. We'll see a brief introduction of Pandit Daulat Ramji, how his lifestyle was and what kind of struggle he did and what are his creations. Pandit Daulat Ramji, deeply immersed in the knowledge of the soul, Pandit Daulat Ramji was a jewel of the Palliwal Jain community. So, deeply immersed in the knowledge of the soul. Pandit Daulat Ramji was a jewel. So, Palliwal Jain community, it's a kind of community, and Pandit Daulat Ramji belonged to that community. He was a Jain jewel because he was a renowned scholar. He was born in village Sasni near Aligarh. So we have Manglayatan right now there. And before we reach Manglayatan, this Sasni place comes, and there is still this temple over there in Sasni where Pandit Daulat Ramji used to go and pray. It is still there. He also lived in Aligarh afterwards. His father was Todarmalji. So this is not the same Todarmalji as the one who has written Mokshmar Prakasak. But this Todarmalji was a different person. He was Pandit Daulat Ramji's father. Pandit Daulat Ramji had two sons. The eldest's name was Tikaramji. By profession, Pandit Daulat Ramji was a cloth merchant, and he spent quite a large part of his life in Delhi. Away from self-applause, the full life story of this great poet is not available. That is true across all the other Vidwans and Acharyas and Sadhu and all. They never mention their life story at any place. In fact, some of the Acharyas have not mentioned their name also. So it was very difficult to find out who has written this text. And there are still so many poetries and texts which nobody knows who has written it. But anyhow, we have got it in a good condition. So it has been written down and it is being published through books. He was an ordinary householder. Pandit Daulat Ramji was an ordinary householder, simple in nature and engaged in the search of the soul. So many of our Vidwans, Pandit Ji, in ancient time, not the current one, they were all very small traders, with a small setup, and but they were very learned scholars and very intelligent one. But business-wise, they were having a very small business. But they were very satisfied with what they were earning, and they never longed for more money and more risk and more struggle and anything. They were quite satisfied with what they were getting, and the expenses in those days were also very less. And so as a Jaini householder, these small businessmen also used to save a lot of money, and they were managing their house very well. His Chaidala, very much talked about and respected, is a jewel of his work. So Chaidala is a poetic work, not a prose one. It's in the form of a poem, and it has got 6 different chapters called Dhal. So just because there are 6 Dhal, it is called Chaidala. There is hardly any Jain who does not study this work. It has been prescribed in the course of all Jain examination boards. So this is one of the most popular text that we have, and it is written in the prose, in the poetic form, and the content is also of very high quality. He wrote this Chaidala Granth in Samvat 1891. So Pandit Daulat Ramji was born in 1798, and he left this human body in 1866 AD at the age of 68 years. And this particular Chaidala was written on 11th of May, 1834, Common Era. He has successfully tried to fill the ocean in a small pot. Gagar mein sagar. So sagar is a huge thing, and gagar is a very small pot. But the Chaidala work written by Pandit Daulat Ramji is such that he has successfully tried to fill the ocean in a small pot. That means he has covered up all the things in a very short form. Apart from this, he composed many prayers and spiritual verses which are recited after the religious discourses in all the Jain temples in India. His devotional verses are full of deep thoughts of the self. His poems, besides being spiritual, are full of poetical qualities of a high order. Language is simple, comprehensible, and spontaneous. His verses can be compared with the works of any great master of Hindi lyric poetry. The present portion has been taken from his famous work Chardala. So he was a great poet and very talented, and he has a good command over the Hindi language at that point of time. And this portion has been taken from his famous work Chardala, and out of that second dhal or the second chapter, and verses number 2 to 7. So this verse 2 to 7 depicts the errors in understanding the 7 fundamentals. So if somebody wants to attain right belief, then what he needs to do? Then he needs to understand the 7 elements, the concept of 7 elements very clearly. If there are any errors remaining in any one of the elements, then right belief cannot be achieved. So if there is an error in one element, that means he has errors in all the 7. So very important from the point of view of right belief. Right faith cannot be accomplished without understanding the 7 fundamentals in their right perspective. People have been under delusion about this since time eternal. So these errors are coming from when? Since time eternal. There is no beginning. These errors are being clarified here. So the first of the error is error regarding soul and non-soul elements. Jeev Ajeev Tattva Sambandhi Bhul. So what is the error regarding soul and non-soul elements? The nature of the soul entity is knowing and seeing. जानने देखने रूप ज्ञान दर्शनमय. और पुद्गल से बने हुए शरीर आदि. While bodily frames made of non-soul elements have shapes. So the nature of this soul entity is knowing and seeing, and the physical body along with that soul is of non-soul elements, or it is made up of matter, and it has got shapes. It contains the qualities of Varna, Gandha, Ras, and Spars. Varna is colors, Gandh is smell, Ras is taste, and Spars is touch. So while bodily frames made of non-soul elements have shapes, the behavior of soul element is altogether unlike that of ether, anti-ether, time, space, though they are selfless. So ether is dharm dravya, anti-ether is adharm dravya. Then time is kal dravya and space is akas dravya. So these 4 are also non-corporeal. It also does not have these qualities of touch, taste, smell, and vision.
So what is space, you said?
Space is Akash. Space is Akash Dravya, and time is Kal Dravya. Dharm Dravya, Adharm Dravya, Kal Dravya, Akash Dravya. Ether, anti-ether, time, and space. So these four are also shapeless, and our soul is also shapeless, but these four are made up of matter, and soul is made up of consciousness. This soul, not recognizing this difference, considers the behavior of bodies to be that of the soul force. So just because the soul does not have discriminative knowledge, it believes that this body is his own, and it identifies himself with the body. Forgetting its own intrinsic nature, अपने ज्ञान स्वभाव को भूलकर, the soul considers itself beautiful or ugly due to the beauty or ugliness of the physical frame. So, forgetting its own intrinsic nature. So, what is the true nature? It's just to know and see. So, forgetting its own this nature, intrinsic nature, the soul considers itself beautiful or ugly due to the beauty or ugliness of the physical frame or body, and considers the bodily progeny. Progeny means the kids. And considers the bodily progeny as part and parcel of its own being. So, पुत्र आतिक में भी आत्मबुद्धि करता है. अपने ज्ञान स्वभाव को भूलकर शरीर की सुंदरता से अपने को सुंदर और कुरूपता से कुरूप मान लेता है, तथा उसके संबंध से होने वाले पुत्र आदि में भी आत्मबुद्धि करता है. So the soul considers itself beautiful or ugly due to the beauty or ugliness of the physical frame, and considers the bodily progeny as part and parcel of its own being. It also feels oneness with activities like fast, उपवास आदि क्रिया, and discourses, उपदेश आदि क्रियाओं में भी अपना अनुभव करता है. It also feels oneness with activities like fast and discourses that are dependent on physical frames. So if we are doing fast, that means not giving any food to the body. So again, it is related to body. And if you consider discourses, so these discourses are also part of body, and it is also a kind of matter, and that vachan vargana comes out from the mouth. So these activities like fast and discourses, this soul feels oneness with those activities. And the last one, when the body is born, this being regards that as one's own birth. And when the physical frame leaves the soul, one considers it to be one's death. This is our mistake regarding the soul and non-soul elements. So we have in total 5 points through which we are discriminating between a soul and non-soul substance. So what was the first one? So the behavior of soul element is altogether unlike that of the other 4 substances. though they are shapeless. This soul, not recognizing this difference, consider the behavior of bodies to be that of the soul force. So this is the first error. The second error is forgetting its own intrinsic nature. Then the third one is considers the bodily progeny as part and parcel of its own being. And the fourth one is it also feels oneness with activities like fast and discourses that are dependent on physical frames. And the last one is when the body is born, this being regards that as one's own birth. And when the physical frame leaves the soul, one considers it to be one's death. This is our mistake regarding the soul and non-soul elements. So these are the 5 major differences. To consider one's soul as physical body and the non-living entity as a living one are errors regarding soul and non-soul elements. So this is the basic fundamental errors that this soul has been doing it since time immortal. So until and unless these errors are removed, nobody can achieve the right belief. So now we move on to the third element called Asrav Tattva or the influx element. By their very nature, unnatural tendencies are instrumental to unhappiness. What is this unnatural tendency? राग द्वेष मोह आदि विकारी भाव प्रगट में दुख को देने वाले हैं. So these are instrumental to unhappiness or misery, but this being indulges in them and consider himself to be happy. So this is the error regarding influx element. He thinks that good deeds lead to happiness and attract material merit, leading to heavenly joys. He does not, however, consider that which leads to bondage cannot fetch happiness. In the first chapter of the Chaydala, it has been made specific that there is no happiness in the heavens. When there is no joy in the world, how can we expect to get it from there? The good and bad activities and tendencies clearly cause bondage. To regard them desirable is the error regarding influx element. The third, soul, non-soul, influx, and errors regarding bondage element. So this is the fourth one. On fruition of good and bad karmas, the soul indulges in all sorts of attachment and aversions respectively. So the karmas which has already been bound, when they come to fruition, right? Shubh karma and ashubh karma. Both kinds of karmas are there. So when they come to fruition, the soul indulges in all sorts of attachments, that is rag, and aversions, that is dvesh, respectively. Sensual pleasures are the result of good karmas, and these are full of uneasiness, causing unhappiness only. Both are injurious, whether it is an auspicious karma or the inauspicious karmas. Both are injurious, being reasons of worldly continuance, while complete liberation is achieved only when both are completely annihilated. So, whether it is auspicious karma or inauspicious karma, both are both are causing injury to the soul, and it is the chief reason of worldly continuance. संसार में परिभ्रमण का मूल कारण यही है कि शुभ और अशुभ, auspicious and inauspicious, both type of karmas are causing injury to the soul. And while complete liberation is achieved only when both are completely annihilated. So when both the karmas, the auspicious and inauspicious karmas, are annihilated or destroyed, complete liberation is achieved. The error regarding bondage is that he does not understand this fact. So the ignorance about this knowledge that moksha can only be achieved when Shubh and Ashubh parinam is completely destroyed. So this is the error regarding the bondage element. Now we move on to the errors regarding stoppage. Stoppage means samvar. Samvar tattva sambandhi bhul. Stoppage of influx takes place only with soul consciousness. And detachment, and those alone make the soul happy. आत्मज्ञान और आत्मज्ञान सहित वैराग्य संवर है, और वे ही आत्मा को सुखी करने वाले है. These are those that make the soul happy. उन्हें कष्टदायी मानता है. He considers them to be painful. Meaning thereby that he regards the achievement of right knowledge and detachment as painful. He does not realize that these are blissful states of our being and not causing any discomfort. So this knowledge and the detachment or the vairagya are indeed a cause of happiness, but because this soul does not have clarity on the errors regarding this stoppage of influx, so he believes that producing this samvar state is very difficult and painful. So this is the mistake regarding this.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, for achieving complete liberation, only it is achieved when both the good and bad karmas are completely annihilated.
Right.
We have
Right.
to destroy the bad karmas, good karmas also.
Yes, it automatically gets destroyed. We don't have to destroy. We have to focus in ourselves. And while we are focusing in ourselves, these karmas automatically get destroyed or gets detached from our soul.
So it is, sir, it is not even about doing good karmas or bad karmas, both. We just have to detach, right?
Yes, because after a good karma, there is always a bad karma. After a bad karma, there is always a good karma. These changes keep on happening. And but both of these karma, whether it is auspicious karma or inauspicious karma, both are causing injury to the soul. So, how can we consider the auspicious karma as good and is inauspicious karma as bad?
So from religious angle, then
Yeah.
what is the role of good karmas and bad karmas?
See, we are now primarily focusing on right belief. And to achieve right belief, we need to understand the seven fundamentals in its true sense. And this is the error regarding this influx and bondage, that there are two types in it. One is the auspicious one, and one is the inauspicious one. As far as the uh, path of liberation is concerned, both are hindrances to the path of liberation.
Right.
So in that sense, Acharya have put in both in the same category, but that does not mean that they are both are same. Both are different. Generally, if a soul wants to achieve self-realization or that feeling of self-realization, then it cannot happen straightway from the inauspicious karma. So the soul has to come under the auspicious karma, and from there it can go to the pure sentiments. So this is the sequence. Nobody achieves pure sentiment directly from inauspicious karma. So first he has to go to the auspicious karma, and auspicious karmas are of again two types. One kind of auspicious karma is such which is going to bring you Dev Guru Sastra and other things which are going to be of benefit to you in the path of liberation. So this kind of auspicious karmas are also there. On fruition, you get all kinds of good things to pursue your spiritual journey. And then there are other kinds of auspicious karma, just like we have Ambani and Adani and Tata, Birla and all. So these are all very rich people, and the fruition of auspicious karma has come to them. So they are having good things in life. But it is of no use in the path of liberation. So, this auspicious karmas are again.
How is it possible to destroy all the good and even bad karmas? Because even when we become monks, like sadhus and sadhvijis, they have to take food from the people. So that is also a karma. That is also
There are four levels to this karmas: Anantanubandhi, Apratyakhyan, Pratyakhyan, and Sanjwalan. So in the first stage, only Anantanubandhi Kashai goes. So other trees are still remaining. So it can go on. Even Muniraj has this Sanjulan Kasai. So, but only thing is that Muniraj does not indulge in inauspicious karma. So they have only auspicious karma left with them, and the kind of literature they write, the kind of sermons they give, and the kind of other services they give to the Jainism as a whole, these all things, these kind of sentiments binds the auspicious karma, and because of those auspicious karma, he gets all the good things in life. So there, when we compare, when we see this auspicious and inauspicious karma from the perspective of a path of liberation, both are same. But when we see auspicious and inauspicious karma from the point of view of manifestation, then auspicious karma is much better than inauspicious karma, because the fruition of inauspicious karma will take you to hell and nigod and subhuman state. And if you are indulging in auspicious karma, then of course you get human life and celestial beings and all good things automatically comes into fruition.
So that is in the next life, the karma that you do.
Yeah, and here also, even if we are doing
So
good,
one is fruition and the other is
yeah.
next gen.
So the fruition might come right now also, the fruition might come in the next birth also, or it may come after 10, 15 births also, we never know. So it depends on how, with what intensity we have bound the karma. So if it is for a more, if it's of a more longer duration, then it goes on for a longer duration. If it is for a shorter duration, it is there till that time only. And again, the impact is more than the fruition is also more. If the impact is less, then the fruition is also less. So it all depends upon the sthiti and anubhag. Sthiti is the duration and the anubhag is the potential of the karma. So this was about Bandh Tattva Sambandhi Bhool. Now we move on to Samvar Tattva Sambandhi Bhool. Errors regarding, so this one we have done. Now we move on to Nirjara Tattva Sambandhi Bhool. Errors regarding gradual dissociation. Absence of desires. So desire is Ichcha, and absence of desire, that is Ichcha Nirodho Tap. So absence of desire is dissociation or partial shedding, and that brings happiness. आत्मज्ञान पूर्वक इच्छाओं का अभाव ही निर्जरा है और वही आनंदमय है. So the main part is absence of desires. So when you indulge yourself in your pure soul, this desire does not rise only. And this is how we say that we have destroyed the desires. So we have to understand this kind of statement, that it may say that destroy the desires. But what does that mean? It means that when you focus on yourself, then at that point of time, the desire does not rise only. And when it does not rise, we call it that we have destroyed the desire. So absence of desire is dissociation or partial shedding, and that brings happiness. And what is the error in this? Not knowing this and forgetting one's own powers of the soul. When one considers oneself to be happy in the satisfaction of his desires and does not consider that their absence is real happiness. So what is the error? This soul feels that absence of desire does not bring happiness. On the contrary, the fulfillment of desires bring happiness. So this is the wrong belief regarding this gradual dissociation. One commits error regarding shedding of the bondage partially. So, इच्छाओं के अभाव को सुख नहीं मानता है, यही इसकी भूल है, निर्जरा तत्व संबंधी भूल. यही इसकी निर्जरा तत्व संबंधी भूल है. So is it possible to fulfill the desires? No, it is not possible to fulfill the desire because, see, there are three reasons. These are all given in Moksha Marg Prakashak, but just now we are discussing about this desire. So fulfilling of desire is never possible, because when one desire is fulfilled, another desire comes up. When that is fulfilled, then another comes up. So at no point of time, the soul is devoid of any kind of desire. Something or the other keeps on coming. So first was this: the desires cannot be fulfilled. The second point is, these desires, the whole of this desire is very small. No, sorry. इच्छा रूपी गड़ा बहुत बड़ा है. So this desire, the whole of desire is such a big that even if we bring all the wealth of this universe, then also it is just a fraction of the total desire that this soul has. So this ichha, these desires are never fulfilled. The third one is the availability of the material which we have desired, and that feeling of desire does not match. When the feeling of desire is there, the material is not there. And when you actually receive that material, that desire has gone. So, जब इच्छा है तब सामग्री नहीं है, और जब सामग्री मिलती है तो इच्छा नहीं है. So many a times you've seen कि when you go to a car showroom dealer to purchase a car, you are so much excited, and finally you make a choice in the showroom and you make the payment, and the car vendor says that tomorrow car will be delivered, or you can come here tomorrow and take delivery of the car. So they come back home, and the next day they have to take the delivery of the car. But at that point of time, something important has come up. So the interest of fetching that new car, that is not there. So this is another tragedy with desires, that when the desires is there, the commodity is not there, and when the commodity is available, the desire has already gone away. So all the knowledgeable people, they don't desire any kind of things, because they know there is no happiness in any of the worldly commodities, and so they don't desire this kind of commodities. The last one is errors regarding complete liberation. Moksha tattva sambandhi bhool. In liberation lies real happiness, without any discomfiture. We do understand this and consider pleasure seeking to be a happy state. We also think that the happiness of the liberated soul must also be of the same kind as sensual joys. So what is the error? He considers the sensual pleasures and the pleasures of liberation of same quality. And just because of this wrong understanding, the error regarding complete liberation keeps on going. As long as we do not remove these errors regarding 7 fundamentals, we cannot be said to be treading the path of liberation. So it is very important to understand the true nature of these 7 elements. And once you know the true nature of these 7 elements without any blemishes or without any mistakes, then only you achieve right belief. So the lines that has been picked up from the Chadala Granth of the second Dal are like this. It is given there in the Hindi version. चेतन को है उपयोग रूप बिन मूरत चिन्ह मूरत अनूप उद्कल नभ धर्म अधर्म काल इनते न्यारी है जीव चाल ताको न जान विपरीत मान करी करे देह में निज पिचान मैं सुखी दुखी मैं रंक राव मेरे धन ग्रह गोधन प्रभाव मेरे सुततीय में सबल दीन बेरूप सुभग मूरख प्रवीण तन उपजत अपनी उपज जान तन नशत आप को नाश मान. So these were the 6 lines dedicated to the errors regarding the soul and non-soul elements. Now next in the sequence is errors regarding the influx. रागादि प्रगट जे दुख देन तिनी को सेवत गिनत चैन. Then comes the errors regarding bondage. शुभ अशुभ बंध के फल मंजार रति अरति करे निज पद विसार. Then errors regarding stoppage of influx. आत्म हित हेतु विराग ज्ञान ते लखे आपको कष्ट दान. Then errors regarding dissociation of karma. Errors regarding the dissociation of bondage. रोके न चाह निज शक्ति खोय. So this much only for that. And then there is moksha tattva sambandhi bhul. Errors regarding the understanding of liberation. Shiva rupa nirakulta na joy. So this was in short the 7 errors of the fundamental elements. So until and unless we have a proper understanding of these 7 elements, the errors are not removed, and these errors are from time immortal. So with the correct understanding of the 7 elements, one can get rid of these errors and achieve Samyak Darshan or the right belief. Is it possible that one can have error in one of the elements or two elements? It is not possible. If there is error in the understanding of one element, then all the other elements understanding is also not correct. So the last question, how to correct these 7 errors? So first we have to read the scriptures properly and understand the true nature of elements. Then we have to try to analyze our own errors through introspections and correct them according to the sermons of realized souls. Then understand the ones worth renouncing, worth knowing, and worth manifesting or taking shelter of in the elements, and make a decision about your true nature. So after knowing the 7 elements, the next step is we should categorize all the 7 elements into 3 parts. Hey, Gnei, Upade. Hey is worth living, Gnei is worth knowing, and Upade is worth taking shelter. So once you categorize these 7 elements among these 3, then you get to the right knowledge and the right belief. Apply discriminative knowledge and distinguish between self and non-self elements. So these are the steps that we need to take after understanding the 7 elements and also knowing about the errors regarding those. So we need to do this kind of practice till we get liberated. So these 7 errors are very important, and one must understand it very clearly. So this is all about this chapter. Now the next week we will be taking class on Tuesday and Wednesday, our usual time. Tuesday will be 9:15 to 10:15 and Wednesday will be 9 to 10. But before we end, I would just like to, there were some queries regarding what is to be done in concept clarity. So if you are not attending classes regularly, then you will miss these instructions. And it was also shared by Aditi ji in the group also. What is the topic for concept clarity 1? So the topic is, we have read 8 chapters in Vitrag Vigyan 1, part 1. So out of 8 chapters, you can write a summary of any 4 minimum, right? And the number of full script pages should be 2 to 6 pages, not less than 2 and not more than 6. So within those 6 pages, you have to write summary of any 4 chapters, or if you feel like you can write 5 chapters summary of, you can write 6 chapters also, 7 also, and 8 also, whatever you want to like summary, but at least 4 chapters summary should be there. So this was one part of the written assignments. And the second part is the myth buster. Myth buster means you had certain kind of belief earlier, and after reading this, say, Vitrag Vigyan part 1, those wrong perception has gone. So this is your myth buster. You had some myth, you had some wrong, false belief, and now that you understand the right belief, so you you come out of those myths. So this is called myth buster. So this myth buster should be of half page, wherein you will be sharing your experiences, what new you have learned in this SEM, in this particular paper 1, concept clarity paper 1. So this was all about the homework, and 28th was the last date. We have given you 21 days. So I expect now everyone to complete your concept clarity paper 1 assignment and mail me. You can scan it and mail me on my email ID. And there is some problem going on in Moodle, so it could not be uploaded right now. So this is what you have to send me, and this is our first of the concept clarity, 3 concept clarities we have. So this one is the first one, and all the students who are not attending live but still they want to continue with the course, they also should complete this and submit by 20th latest. So still, if you have any doubts, you can always ask. Don't hesitate to ask any kind of question. You can ping me personally also.
Sir, what is Dhai Dweep?
Yeah, so more questions were there. I'll just answer. Dhaidip is an area wherein the human life exists. Okay. Beyond this Dhaidip, there are many. Deep means island, and then there are ocean. So one ocean, then one island, one ocean, then one island. It keeps on going like this, and we are in the first 2.5, Dhaidip. So 2.5 is Dhaidip, 2.5 island. Beyond that, human life does not exist. So this is our whole universe of Dhaidip only, where a human being is available. So this is Dhaidip is a place. Okay. Next was, what was your next question?
Kushil.
Yeah. So out of 5 sins, Kushil is one of the sins. Hinsa, Jhoot, Chori, Kushil, and Parigrah. So commonly Kushil is called ki when you see other female persons with the wrong intention, it is called Kushil.
Okay.
And from the real point of view, if you say Kushil, means ki when you indulge in Rag, Dvesh, Moh, it is called Kushil. And when you indulge yourself in your own soul, then it is called Sushil. So, this was the second question. And one more was there.
One Shreni. I'll just.
Sapak Shreni and Upsham Shreni, right?
Yes, sir.
The Shreni is a spiritual stage of it's a stage or in spiritual development. Okay. And it starts from first, and so we have 14 stages of spiritual development, 1 to 14. And this train begins from the 8th stage. And that 8th stage is, of course, 6th and 7th above is all about monkhood. So when a monk absorbs himself or focuses in himself, then his spiritual stages goes on increasing. So when he attains the 8th stage, it is called Shreni. And if it is a Sapak Shreni, then it goes from 8th to 9th to 10th to 11th. And from there it falls again and comes back up to, say, maybe up to first stage also, and then again it bounces back and attains the Sapak Shreni, and it goes to the 12th Gunasthan and achieves full passionlessness, complete passionlessness. So this was about
And
the,
sir, Upshan Shreni
so
is the
Upsham,
last stage.
yeah, Upsham Shreni is 8, 9, 10, 11, and Shapak Shreni is 8, 9, 10, 12.
Oh, okay. 8, 9, 10, 11th and 12th is Shapak Shreni, and
Sapak
Upsham
is 12.
Shreni.
11 in the Sapak Sreni, after 10th, it is directly 12th. Because 11th is such a spiritual stage of development that from 11 compulsorily the soul falls and comes down to
Okay.
the lower spiritual stages. So Upsham Sreni, in the Upsham Sreni, there appears the 11th spiritual stage, and in Sapak Shreni, it does not appear, it directly goes from 10th to 12th.
Okay.
So the Sapak Shreni soul who is into Sapak Shreni, it never falls back and he achieves the complete passionlessness, then omniscience, and then he gets liberated. He never comes back into this worldly existence again. And there is no guarantee of the monk who is into Upsham Sreni whether he will achieve liberation in this life or not. There are many possibilities there. So there is no hard and specific rule like that. Any other questions?
Sir, in the starting of the chapter regarding errors regarding soul and non-soul elements, you said Varna, Gandh. So can you please repeat what is
Yeah,
the meaning?
Varna, Gandha, Spars, Ras.
What
So
is the meaning of Varna?
Varna is the things that we see through our eyes. Colors. Varna is colors. So it is a function of eye. Then Gandha is a function of nose. Then Spars, Ras, Gandha, Varna. So Spars is
Touch.
touch, and the Spars, Ras is taste. So these are the qualities of a material substance. Okay. Spars,
So,
Ras,
in short, sir, five senses.
pardon?
5 senses.
5 senses, yeah, because each quality belongs to one kind of sense. So these 4 qualities are the fundamental qualities of Udgal Dravya or material thing, material substance. And the other 4, the Dharm Dravya, Adam Dravya, Akash and Kal, these are again amurtik, so they don't have the Spars, Ras, Gandh and Varna. Anything else?
So what is hearing? Hearing.
Hearing is Shabda, Kan. Where it is?
So means that is not included in knowing, hearing.
Okay. It is not included. It is again a quality of material matter only. But when we want to identify matter, then we just take these 4 qualities only. Spars, Ras, Gandh, Varna. Okay. Anything else?
That summary cannot be more than 6 pages, right?
Yes. But even if you extend by, say, you are writing something very interesting, and even if you extend by 1 page, we don't mind. But
Actually,
even
sir,
if-
it's not interesting. It may be very boring to you. The thing is, for me, all concepts are new. The entire concept of Jainism, everything is new. So I have ended up, for me, everything is a lesson. So the whole chapter, everything is a new learning for me. So to summarize some, so it is difficult, but I will try to do it. Maybe
yeah,
so I have already made notes on 2-3 chapters, but each chapter is 3-4 pages. I've literally written down the whole chapter so that it goes in my head.
so actually it is good.
Yeah.
And because of that only we have introduced this concept. But what happens, ki,
Too much to check.
each and every student wants to write in detail. So when they write in detail, it takes up so much of pages. So what we suggest is ki you write for the exam purpose. There is not going to be any gradation of this submission.
Right.
You have to give full marks. If you have submitted within the time span, you have to give full marks. We cannot cut anything. So whether you do it 2 pages or 6 pages doesn't matter.
Right.
So what you want to do for you personally,
Right.
that you go and do it in detail.
Ha.
It is for your own reading, right?
Right.
And what is for the exam purpose, that you can just finish up in 2 pages.
Correct. So maybe just what the chapter is about, that will only take half a page. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
So that makes it very easy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take more than half an hour also.
Yeah. For me, it was taking a lot of time.
So
The time crunch, also not feeling well. It was taking more time because I was reading the book, listening to the lecture again, the whole thing. So for one chapter, it is taking me 3 hours.
yeah,
Because I want to put the concept in my head totally, because there
yes.
is.
So it is good.
Maybe I think summary I'll be able to finish it. Maybe again personal reading will take a little longer.
Yeah, personal reading and personal notes you should make. So instead of going through the whole chapter, you can see those important.
What is the chapter about? I can easily.
At a glance. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Sir,
that
Mythbuster is how many pages? 1 page or 2 pages?
half page.
Half page.
Yeah.
Sir, how to fit in half page? It is long, that Mythbuster.
So even if it is 1 page is okay. 1 page is also okay.
Like a one pager, just your understanding.
Full one script page is also okay.
2 pages is okay. 2 pages.
Yeah, 2 pages also okay. No problem. If you have time to write it so interestingly, and if your myths are getting busted, then we will spare time to read those also. So these are all one-off cases, exceptional cases, but by and large, people do finish, because first time you said these were my misconceptions.
Right.
But then every time it's not all the misconceptions, only 1 or 2 new comes up. So as you progress into the in the 6th, 4th sem, 5th sem, then you know all the concepts. Fundamentally, you know everything. So there is hardly anything left over which is new. So then you have to find some myths which may not be myth in the first place, but you have to write something. So people do write that way and finish it off.
Okay.
So one is the for our own understanding, we are making something, and one is for the purpose of exams. So ideally, the purpose of exam was also the same, but with the limitation in page limits, and when you want to write for your own, you do write in every detail.
Correct.
So we can manage it both ways. So this is the first time that you are doing, so I'm giving you just guidance, but next time onwards you can do it as per your own choice and wishes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll close for today. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है। 9 बार नौकार मंत्र गिनेंगे। जय जिनेंद्र। So